This podcast is brought to you by AGS Agriculture Global Solutions, your partner for better oil palm farming.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
I have been away for some time. I am back in the studio. We continue the series called the NPK School. If you missed earlier episodes, you should look for them on our channel. Today is copper.
Right, known by the chemical symbol Q.
Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel if you find our podcasts interesting. Please pause this podcast now and subscribe. Thank you so much for your support.
We really appreciate it. It helps us keep making these for you.
So we are going to take a breath here.
Yeah, settle in.
All right, we are back. So in past sessions, we spent a lot of time covering the big nutrients, right?
Yeah, the macros.
Exactly. We talked about nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So we will not repeat those lessons today.
What need to go backwards?
Right. Today, we are focusing completely on copper. It is a micronutrient.
Which basically means the oil palm only needs a tiny, tiny amount of it to survive.
Yeah, but just because it needs a tiny amount, we cannot ignore it.
Oh, absolutely not. It is critical.
So explain what copper actually does inside the palm, keeping it practical for us.
Sure. So copper essentially has two main jobs in the oil palm. First off, it helps the plant make food from sunlight.
Okay, making food from sunlight, that is photosynthesis, right?
Exactly, photosynthesis. The plant uses energy from the sun to build sugars, and, well, copper acts like a spark plug in that engine.
A spark plug. I like that.
Yeah, without it, the engine just misfires. The plant literally cannot feed itself properly.
Wow, okay. So that is the energy side. What is the second job?
The second job is building structure. Copper helps the plant make a material called lignin.
Lignin.
Right, lignin. It is the tough stuff. It gives the plant cell walls all their strength.
That makes the trunk hard.
Yes, makes the trunk hard, makes the fronds nice and stiff.
Yeah.
Copper is absolutely essential for healthy new growth. The palm needs it to build strong wood.
So I kind of think about it like building a house, right? Nitrogen and potassium are your bricks.
Yeah, you need tons of those.
Exactly, tons of bricks. But copper is the mortar. It is the paste holding the bricks together. If you forget the mortar, the house falls down.
That is a perfect way to look at it.
But here is my question. If it is the mortar, why do we need so little of it compared to nitrogen?
Because a tiny amount of copper goes a very long way inside the plant tissue.
Okay.
The palm focuses its copper use entirely on new growth. It uses this really small amount to form the newest leaves correctly.
Oh, just the new parts.
Exactly. Once those parts are built, the copper has done its job. The palm does not, consume it in massive volumes like it does nitrogen.
That makes a lot of sense. The focus is on the new parts. So let us move out to the field.
Let us do it.
You are a field advisor. You are walking a block. You are looking up at the canopy. How do you actually spot low copper? Because farmers misread these signs all the time.
Oh, they misread it constantly. The number one rule is location. You must look at the youngest open leaves at the very top of the canopy.
At the very top.
Right. Do not look at the old, lower fronds. Copper problems always show up on the new growth first.
Okay, so what visual signs are we actually looking for on those new leaves?
The very first sign is small, yellow, rectangular speckles.
Rectangular.
Yeah, they kind of look like tiny yellow boxes scattered across the green surface of the new leaf. That is your early warning sign right there.
But a farmer might miss tiny speckles? What happens next?
Well, the symptoms get worse really fast. The new leaves start growing much shorter than the old ones.
Shorter.
Yeah, so the whole top of the palm looks flat and, well, stunted. Eventually, the leaf tips and the edges turn yellow. Then they die and turn brown.
Okay, wait, I need to stop you there. You just said the leaves turn yellow.
Yes.
If I'm a farmer and I see yellow leaves, my brain instantly screams nitrogen. Low nitrogen causes yellow leaves.
Yeah.
So how does a field advisor actually tell the difference?
And that is exactly where the confusion happens. You have to understand how the plant moves nutrients around. Nitrogen is mobile. If the palm is starving for nitrogen, it actually steals it from the old leaves to feed the new leaves. So a lack of nitrogen makes the older leaves turn pale green or yellow. The whole leaf changes color.
But copper does not move the same way.
Correct. Copper is completely immobile inside the plant. The palm just cannot steal it from the old leaves.
It is stuck.
Exactly. Therefore, the new leaves starve. That is why low copper attacks the top of the canopy first. It starts with those tiny yellow rectangular speckles. It is never a full yellow wash on the bottom fronds.
So yellow on the bottom means check your nitrogen.
Right.
Yellow speckles on top mean check your copper.
Yes, absolutely. But you also have to rule out other damage. Farmers often confuse copper deficiency with something called peat yellows.
Peat yellows.
Yeah, it happens on swampy soils, but that usually involves several missing nutrients at once, not just copper. And you also need to look out for chemical
Oh,
damage.
you mean like herbicide spray?
Exactly. A worker sprays chemical weed killer. The wind catches it, right? It drifts onto the lower
And
fronds.
it burns it.
Yes, the chemical burns the leaf. It causes yellow spots and dead tips. So you must ask yourself if you just sprayed chemicals in that block.
Right.
If the answer is yes, you are probably just looking at chemical burn, not a copper problem.
Okay, so the speckles are just the alarm bell. To actually fix the problem, we have to look down at the dirt.
Always look at the dirt.
Right. An oil palm block runs out of copper for specific reasons.
Hmm.
I want to look at the soil environment now. But first, let us define two terms in plain words.
Let us do it.
Okay, the first term is organic matter. This is simply dead plant material, right?
Yep.
It is the old fronds, dead roots, rotting wood mixed into the soil.
Exactly.
And the second term is tie-up. Tie-up happens when the soil chemistry locks onto a nutrient. It holds it so tightly that the plant roots cannot break the grip.
It is basically trapped.
Yeah. The copper is sitting right there,
Yeah.
but it is locked in a cage. The roots cannot eat it.
Those are really good definitions.
So keeping those terms in mind, let's talk about peat soils. Why do peat soils cause such massive copper problems?
Well, peat soils are essentially 100% organic matter. They're just deep, deep layers of rotting swamp material.
Okay.
Because of this, they cause a massive tie-up. The organic matter binds directly to the copper.
So it locks it away.
The soil completely refuses to share it. You can have plenty of copper right there in the ground, but the palm will still starve.
That is wild. Okay, what about the opposite extreme? Think about a block planted on very sandy soil.
Sandy soils have the exact opposite problem. Sand particles are large. They have big gaps between them. Sand holds almost no organic matter.
Right.
Because of this, the soil cannot grip the copper at all.
So the heavy rains come.
Yes. Heavy tropical rain hits the sand. The water flushes the copper straight down. It washes right past the roots and disappears deep underground.
Just gone.
Yeah, this washing process is called leaching. The nutrient is simply gone.
Okay, let us talk about another soil condition. Farmers hear the term pH a lot. Soil acidity. It just means how sour or sweet the ground is.
Right, sour or sweet.
How does soil acidity affect our copper levels?
It changes the chemistry. If the soil pH is very high, meaning the soil is not sour at all, copper becomes a problem.
Oh, so?
The chemical form of the copper literally changes. The roots struggle to absorb it. The nutrient becomes practically invisible to the root system.
Wow, okay. What about physical ground conditions? Let us say the farm is heavily waterlogged.
Waterlogging is a major cause of low copper. The ground is flooded, it is full of stagnant water.
And roots need to breathe.
Exactly. Palm roots are living tissue. They need oxygen to survive. When the ground floods, the roots suffocate, they lose their strength.
Right.
A drowning root cannot hunt for copper, it just shuts down.
Yeah, it is hard to eat when you cannot breathe. That makes perfect sense.
Totally.
Now, let us look at farmer behavior. What happens when fertilizer is thrown badly?
Oh, poor placement causes artificial shortages all the time. Many workers throw fertilizer in large lumps. They drop a whole handful in one single spot next to the palm.
And the roots and the rest of the circle get absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The root system spreads out widely. If the copper sits in one dense pile, most of the feeding roots never even touch it.
So uneven spreading means the palm cannot take up enough material.
Yep, it is a huge waste.
There is one more cause, and this one surprises a lot of farmers. High phosphorus use.
Oh, yeah.
Applying massive amounts of phosphorus fertilizer actually creates a copper shortage. Explain how that works.
Okay, so roots have transport channels. Think of them as tiny doors that let nutrients inside the plant.
Tiny doors. Got it.
These doors have limited space. If a farmer dumps huge amounts of phosphorus into the soil, those doors get crowded.
Okay.
The roots fill up entirely on phosphorus. They physically block the copper from entering.
Just slamming the door shut.
The plant literally closes the door on copper. This is why a balanced fertilizer program is so critical.
This leads us directly to a practical breakdown. The risk of losing copper changes dramatically depending on the dirt under your palms.
It really does.
I want to run through the common soil types. I will name the soil. You tell me the risk level for copper and the correct response. We need simple oil palm examples.
I am ready. Let's do it.
Okay, rapid fire. First up, peat soils.
High risk. As we said, the massive amount of organic matter causes severe tie-up.
Right.
The roots cannot pry the copper loose, so the response is to bypass the soil entirely. You have to feed the plant directly. This means mixing copper into water and spraying it onto the leaves.
Got it. Second type, sandy soils.
Also high risk. The sand gaps are big, heavy rain causes leaching, the copper just washes away.
So what is the response?
The response here is timing. You must use small, frequent doses. Never apply a whole year of copper at once.
Okay.
Give the palm a tiny bit every few months. Let it drink the nutrient before the next heavy rain washes it deep into the ground.
Makes sense. Third type, heavy clays.
Low risk. Clay is sticky at a microscopic level. It grips nutrients tightly. It prevents leaching.
So we do not worry about it.
The response here is patience. Do nothing unless you see a physical problem. Only apply copper to clay soils if you spot those tiny rectangular yellow speckles on the new fronds.
Okay, fourth type, strongly acidic mineral soils.
Medium risk. These are typical mineral dirt soils, but they are very sour. That sourness stops the roots from functioning well.
So you have to fix the dirt first.
Exactly. It requires 2 steps. First, fix the sour soil. Apply rock phosphate or dolomite to bring the acidity down.
Right.
Once the roots recover, then you check the copper levels again.
Perfect. Fifth type, acid sulfate soils.
High risk. Very high risk. These soils hide a serious danger. They contain special minerals. If the soil dries out, air enters the ground.
And that is bad.
Very bad. A chemical reaction creates actual sulfuric acid. This strong acid burns the palm roots black. They die completely.
Wow. So how do you even manage that?
Strict water control. You must keep the water table high and steady in your drains.
Keep it wet.
All right, keeping the soil wet blocks the air, it stops the acid from forming. Once the acid stops, the roots regrow. Then you can safely apply your copper.
Okay, sixth type, alluvial soils.
Low risk. These are the soils sitting next to rivers. Every time the river floods, it drops a fresh layer of rich dirt and minerals.
So they good to go?
Yeah, these soils are naturally fertile. They usually contain plenty of copper already.
Final type, volcanic soils.
Low risk. These soils are formed from old volcano ash. They are packed with natural minerals. They are highly fertile.
So no copper needed.
You almost never need to add extra copper to a volcanic soil.
That is an excellent field guide right there.
Yeah.
Now, we know we need it. We know our soil risk. How do we actually improve copper safely? What common sources do field advisors use?
Well, the most common and reliable source is generic copper sulfate.
Copper sulfate.
Yeah, it is cheap. It is easy to find in the shops. It looks like a bright blue powder or sometimes blue crystals.
Okay, so farmers have 2 main ways to deliver this blue powder to the palm. They can apply it to the ground, or they can use foliar spraying.
Right.
And foliar spraying just means dissolving the powder in water and spraying it onto the fronds. So when does a farmer use the ground, and when do they grab the sprayer?
For standard mineral soils, ground application is definitely best. It is fast, it is easy, and it is safe.
Just toss it on the ground.
You just spread it evenly in the weeded circle. But if the soil chemistry is broken, ground application fails.
Like the peat soil.
Think of peat soil, exactly. If you throw copper sulfate on peat, the organic matter ties it up immediately. The palm gets nothing.
That is when you spray.
Yes. Foliar spraying bypasses the broken soil. The leaf tissue absorbs the dissolved copper directly.
But there is a catch.
A big catch. Spraying requires careful math. If your mix is too strong, you will burn the leaves badly.
Yeah. But there is a classic field trick for young palms planted on peat. It avoids the sprayer entirely. We call it the mud ball trick.
Oh, the mud ball trick is brilliant for seedlings.
Let me walk through how a farmer does it.
Please do.
So the farmer finds good wet clay from outside the peat swamp. They take a small dose of the blue copper sulfate powder. They mix the powder into the wet clay.
Just mash it in there.
Right. Then they roll it into a tight ball. They dig a small hole near the roots of the young palm and just bury the mud ball.
And it works perfectly.
Why does it work so well?
Because the clay acts as a chemical shield. The peat surrounds the ball, sure, but it cannot touch the copper inside. The tie-up does not happen.
Oh, the cage is broken.
Exactly. The young roots grow directly into the clay. They slowly drink the copper in a safe, protected zone. It feeds the seedlings steadily during its most critical early months.
That actually brings up a massive safety issue. We keep stressing the word tiny. We use small doses. We use mud balls.
Yeah.
Why is too much copper so dangerous? What happens if a farmer just dumps a heavy bag at the base of the palm to save time?
Doing that is completely disastrous.
Really?
Yes. Copper is a heavy metal. In tiny amounts, it is medicine. In large amounts, it is straight poison. Wow.
It causes severe toxicity. If you overapply, it burns the plant tissue. You will see dark brown spots surrounded by bright yellow rings all over the leaves. The tissue simply dies.
But it does not just kill the leaf, though, right? It ruins the ground.
Yes, it does.
Oh.
Heavy metal poisoning destroys soil life.
Right.
Healthy soil is full of microscopic bugs, good fungi, and earthworms. They break down organic matter and keep the dirt alive.
And the copper.
A massive dose of copper wipes them out completely. You sterilize the dirt, and dead soil cannot support high-yielding palms.
I want to make this very clear for everyone. Here is the strict DO and DO not guidance for copper.
Listen to this part.
DO use very small doses. We measure copper in grams per palm, not kilograms, just grams.
Grams, correct.
DO, spread the crystals evenly across the weeded circle. Never dump it in a heavy pile.
Spread it out.
Do not guess the application rate. Use a proper measuring scoop or a scale.
No guessing.
And do not mix it directly with high phosphorus fertilizers.
That last point is crucial.
Yeah, remind us why. As we discussed earlier, high phosphorus fills the root transport doors. It physically blocks the copper, so you need to apply them at different times of the year.
Okay, following those rules protects the palms. Now we need to protect the farmer's wallet.
Let us talk about money.
I want to shift focus to the fertilizer shops. Buying copper is difficult. Field advisors know that resellers and fertilizer dealers use tricks to move inventory. So let us talk about the myths.
The biggest myth in the shop is the miracle cure.
The miracle cure.
Yeah, a fertilizer seller will point to a picture of a yellow palm leaf. They will tell the farmer, copper fixes all yellow leaves, buy this bag and your farm will turn green.
That is just not true.
It is a dangerous myth.
Because if the bottom fronds are pale yellow because the block is starving for nitrogen, dumping copper on it will do absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all. It is a waste of money. Copper cannot fix a nitrogen shortage. It cannot replace missing potassium. It will not drain a flooded field.
Right.
Copper is a specific tool for a specific problem. It never replaces a balanced, complete nutrition program.
What about the application rates the dealers recommend? I hear sellers push farmers to apply heavy rates of copper. They say, more is better. Buy these 50-kilogram sacks.
A field advisor must warn farmers to never, ever listen to that. We just covered toxicity.
Right, it is poison.
More copper is poison.
Yeah.
It burns the roots and kills the soil biology. The palm only requires grams.
So why do they push it?
The seller does not care about your soil biology. The seller only wants you to apply massive rates so they can empty their warehouse and increase their profits.
Okay, let us talk about reading the labels. A farmer walks into the local shop. They see rows of mixed fertilizer bags. The bags have fancy pictures of huge fruit bunches on them.
Oh, always the fancy pictures.
Right. How does a farmer read the label to find the actual truth?
You must ignore the pictures completely. Turn the bag over, look for the small print on the back.
The small print?
You are looking for the exact percentage of copper. Sometimes the label just uses the letters Q. You need to find the number next to it.
Let us run a quick scenario. The dealer shows you a cheap bag of blended fertilizer. He says it is packed with copper. You check the label. The label says the mix contains 1% copper.
That is a terrible deal.
Why?
If it contains 1% copper, that means 99% of that heavy bag is just filler material.
Just filler.
It might just be colored sand or empty dirt. You are paying money to transport a heavy bag of useless filler to your farm.
Then you look at a different bag. This bag is much smaller, the price is a little bit higher, but the label says 25% copper.
Now that is the product you want. You must compare the actual cost per kilogram of the active ingredient.
Reactive ingredient.
Yes, the smaller bag with 25% copper provides far more real nutrition. You apply a tiny amount and it actually works. Do the simple math in the shop. Do not buy heavy bags of sand.
Let us give the farmers exact questions to use. When they stand at the counter, before they hand over any cash, what should they ask the dealer?
Question 1. What is the exact percentage of copper inside this bag?
Exact percentage.
Right. If the dealer says, oh, it has plenty or a lot, that is a trick. Demand the specific number.
Okay, what is question 2?
Question 2. Does this blend contain high amounts of phosphorus? Remember the root doors.
The doors get blocked.
Exactly. If the blend is packed with phosphorus, it will block the copper from working. You are basically buying a mix that fights against itself.
That makes no sense to buy. And question 3.
Question 3. Is this formulation meant for soil application or is it meant for foliar spraying? You cannot guess this.
Why not?
If you try to dissolve strong soil crystals and spray them on the leaves without the right buffering agents, you will burn the canopy.
And if the dealer cannot answer those three simple questions, or if they try to dodge them and push the big sacks,
Walk out the door. Keep your money. A professional agricultural dealer understands plant nutrition and knows their products.
right?
A bad dealer just wants to move heavy bags to hit a sales target.
That is such great advice. We covered a tremendous amount of ground today.
We really did.
We looked at how copper drives photosynthesis and builds strong lignin. We walked the block to spot those tiny yellow speckles on the new fronds.
The alarm bells.
Exactly. We explored the soil environment, from peat tie-up to sandy leaching to acid sulfate dangers. Finally, we exposed the shop myths and protected the budget.
It is all connected.
It is. Now we need action. Tomorrow, walk your block. Look closely at the youngest open leaves at the very top of the canopy. Do you see those small yellow rectangular speckles? If you do, look down at your boots. Check the ground to see if the soil is waterlogged.
And next month, make a firm decision to review your fertilizer plan. Look at your records. Are you applying too much phosphorus and blocking your copper uptake? Decide to check the labels on your bags in the shed. Run the math and calculate the real price per kilogram of active copper.
Thanks for listening.